Is your neighborhood really loud and it makes it really hard for you to create your content for your social media? Or maybe you have a household that is just very, very needy and always needs you to be taking care of them instead of doing your business and creating your content. Because I have been there for many, many years. I feel all of the stress and frustration that you are going through. These are a couple of things that I have implemented to make sure that I am getting my work done despite an incredibly loud neighborhood, despite an incredibly needy family, despite all of the things that are keeping me from creating my content. And the first is one that I talk about a lot in my videos, in my live streams, in the conversations I have with people, and that is to leverage pockets of time. Pockets of time are anything from like 60 seconds to a couple of minutes to maybe 10 or 15 minutes if you're really lucky, that you can be leveraging on the fly. These are things that maybe you don't expect to pop up, but you can leverage without wasting time. Now, in the context of pockets of time, I talk about filming videos or creating content or doing some kind of marketing work while you're sitting in the car waiting for somebody to go pick up their groceries, or while you are standing in line at the grocery store not doing anything. Pockets of time are just small things that pop up throughout the course of your day that you can leverage. This could even be so much as waiting for your video to export and being unable to do anything in the 10 to 15 minutes that it is going to take to export that video. So pockets of time are just small things that pop up that you can leverage to do a task to create more time later on. And leveraging these pockets of time to film parts of your video, really great, or to do other work so that you don't have to do that busy work when you could be filming a full-length video. But that also brings us to some of the other things that you can be doing to help maintain your sanity while you're creating that content. And the first is to make sure you're keeping a running list. Of course, you got to keep a running list of the content that you are doing so that when you have those pockets of time, you can just jump right in. So do the legwork in advance, save a little bit of time and effort for you. So have a title and have the bullet points that you're going to be talking about so that you can film and you don't have to figure it out when you have 5, 10, 15 minutes to do a little bit of your work. But then you also want to make sure that you are scripting your content so you know what you're saying. You don't have to script it word for word. You can do it as the title and then the bullet points and the sub points and things like that so that you know what you're saying and you can have those discussions. But you can also script it out so it's like word for word, you know exactly what you're saying. If you want to use a teleprompter, you can have that in there and just film as needed, which brings us to the next point. Filming in segments. If you do not have time or the opportunity to film a full-length video in a straight-to-camera conversation in one take, film it in segments. And having those bullet points, having it scripted so that you know what you're saying means you can do whatever, whenever. So if you are alone in the car and it's quiet while somebody's in a store, you can film a little segment. Or if one neighbor has stopped mowing, but the other neighbor has not started yet, you've got a couple of minutes, you can film a segment. And you can design your videos to be in segments in multiple ways. We talked about that so many times here on the channel. You can just film direct to camera in one location and just do the sections as needed. You can film it in different places in your house so it looks like you've intentionally cut from one location to the next. You can change the angle of your camera so that it looks intentional, or you can just straight up do it in all sorts of different locations. So you can do part of it in the house, part of it in the car. You can story tell with this. You can do B-roll footage with this, and you can tie these things together by doing zoom in cuts. So it looks like you're just zooming in on different sections and not necessarily filming it in different times periods. Or you can use B-roll to cover it up so that they don't know, or you can just leave the cuts in there. There's lots of options for this, but filming it in segments is incredibly helpful. And the more you have it scripted, the more you can film it in entirely different locations. So let's say you're creating a video and you're going to be doing a little bit of storytelling through the footage that you're going to be using. Maybe you want to film part of it while you're getting ready for your day, and then part of it while you're walking to your car, and then part of it when you park your car at wherever you're going, and then part of it while you are waiting for somebody to come out, and then you're going to be filming part of it as you're walking back into your house. You can tell a progressive story with the locations that you're in if you film in sections and you have the dedicated sections. I right now am planning a really cool video that I'm doing for one of my channels, and I'm going to be doing different lines, different points, not even different sections, but like one line, next line to make one completed point. But I'm doing it in like 4 or 5 different locations, and each location is a single line that I am doing this video in. And so I have it scripted out, at least that section, what I'm going to be saying, what point or sentiment I'm going to be making in that segment. And then I'm going to go throughout the course of the next week or two, I'm going to these different locations and I'm just filming the chunks that I need. And then when I'm done, I'm going to be piecing it all together. So the more you script things out while it's noisy and while you can't be doing other things, the more you can just do it on the fly as it is coming to fruition, as you are creating this and as it is going to work for the content that you're creating, because each video is going to be a little bit different. Now, of course, another thing that you can do, and one that I tend to implement quite a bit, is to change up your schedule a little bit. If you have a very loud neighborhood or a very loud household, you're gonna have to film when people are not going to bother you, when they're not around. And so for me, that oftentimes means getting up really early. I will get up before the sun comes up. I know it horrifies some of you. Some of you are my morning people, and I love you guys to pieces. Please sound off in the comments below. And some of you are night people, and you do not want to get up before 11 a.m. And I'm over here getting up at like 4 in the morning so that I can film. You're going to have to do something, have some kind of schedule shift so that you can get up before the neighbors are loud, before there's heavy traffic, before your kids wake up, before your husband is going to need you to get something ready for the day, right? So that could mean getting up early. That could mean staying up late and not watching your TV. It depends on your schedule. It depends on your household. It depends on your neighborhood. It depends on what you physically can do. But for most of us, evenings are still going to be loud. Even if we put the kids to bed, there's going to be TVs on, there's going to be stuff going on. Evenings can be hard, and so oftentimes that does mean getting up a little bit early in order to do your filming. And that's just something you have to do if that is the world in which you live. If you want to get your content created and you can't do it in pockets of time, or you can't do it in different pieces or segments, and you have to do some kind of continuous conversation that's longer form for your content, you might just have to start getting up a little bit early. Alternatively, if that's not something you can do, but you can go and jump in your car and drive somewhere, you can film in your car in another location, or you can film out in nature. Nature is fantastic. If you can go to a park for a walk, you can go up to the mountain and just have like the forest as the background. There's a lot of things that you can do inside of your car, outside of your car, but as long as you can get in a vehicle and get yourself to another location that is not your noisy neighborhood or your overwhelming household, then you can create content in different locations. And it depends entirely on your channel, the content you're creating, the technology that you have to, microphone-wise block out the wind and some of the birds and things like that. You have flexibility and you have some freedom in terms of how you're doing this, depending on how your life is run. And so we're leveraging those pockets of time. We're making sure everything is scripted out. We are making sure we are filming in segments if absolutely needed. We're making sure we're getting up early or staying up late or changing our schedule somehow to kind of accommodate that for when people are not in the house causing problems. And we are making sure that we're also taking it on the go if we need to. There are options and opportunities for you to work here. And I know some of that's limited by the fact that you do have to take care of your kids. And some of that is limited by the fact that you can't, just jump in your car and go places and do things in certain ways. But we have to be creative. We are creative people, right? We are creating content for social media, for the public consumption. And so we have to use that intelligence that we have in creating to also apply to our filming schedule to make sure we're getting things done. Because I know life is unpredictable. I know things are crazy. In fact, 2 weeks ago, I was supposed to have a full week off of my familial duties by myself to do my filming, and there was construction in my neighborhood that I didn't know was going to happen. Nobody warned me, and for the solid week that I was supposed to be able to film all day, every day, and get all my work done for months and months and months, I was unable to do almost all of it. I got like 6 videos done the entire week. It was the most frustrating and stressful thing. And I know we can't predict what our world is going to be like, even on a day-to-day capacity. So being able to implement some of these things so that we don't lose our minds over this frustrating, uncontrollable stuff that happens in our life really is important for our sanity and for getting our stuff done, to be productive and to be profitable. So we have to learn to be flexible. We have to learn to leverage what we can do. And we have to sometimes make some efforts to go out of our way to get things done. If you have tips and tricks on this, now is the time. We're forming a community here in our comments. We want to hear from you. But if you also struggle with different parts of your entrepreneurial journey, now's the time to get the questions. I drop daily videos helping you navigate the world of your social media and building your online business to make this your most profitable year ever with least amount of stress and overwhelm possible. So now is the time to get those questions in, and we'll see you in tomorrow's episode.